Hey everybody, I'm Arctic Arts, game dev and silly guy, and today we're reacting to Spiffing Brit. Apparently this guy breaks games like crazy. He just put out a Slay the Spire video I wanted to check out because I am crazy addicted to Slay the Spire. It is so good. So if you guys want to see me play that, it's on my Twitch channel lately. Actually, I've been kind of slamming it a bit. I'm excited to get into it and see how he breaks it. I'm not sure if I'm prepared emotionally.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today you shall witness me breaking the hearts of the devs at Megacrit as I completely destroy their...
So, okay, a few interesting things to note going into this. Slay the Spire was made in Godot, which is super, super cool. No, Slay the Spire 2 specifically, they migrated over after the giant Unity controversy, which is a whole thing. Google it if you don't know. But they published the source code from what I understand. So it is extremely moddable, which is very exciting and maybe something I'll be messing with in the future. So the idea of like breaking it and stuff like that, there's so much information on it available. So that's really cool.
New hit game, Slay the Spire 2. I would like to think that this shouldn't be too difficult, as I've sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into Slay the Spire, Monster Train, and basically every roguelike card game you can imagine. So naturally, when
Monster
the
Train is really good. Super underrated, in my opinion.
dangle a sequel to Slay the Spire in front of me, I'm of course going to jump at the opportunity. Powered by the
Digital
fuel of
crack,
Yorkshire Gold
baby.
and my crippling addiction to video games, I've not stopped playing this since it released. Luckily for me, the game is still in early access and has lots of bugs, infinite builds, and messed up game mechanics for me to play with. Think of me like a truffle pig.
So I haven't run into any infinites yet, although there is this one really powerful ability that lets you play every card called that has strike in the name for free, and there's one card that draws multiple cards that has strike in its name, so you basically can play multiple strikes and just keep going. Now I didn't manage to achieve infinite but I guess theoretically it's possible. But it was such a crazy build. I think I have a short of it somewhere.
Looking for exploits. So grab yourself a nice warm cup of tea, give the video a like, and sit back and relax as we find out if Slay the Spire 2...
Oh my god, I've done so many pauses, I apologize, but I'm curious, do you guys like seeing exploits of games you like? I feel like watching Lex Game Out and stuff, because I haven't played them, it's like not giving me like evil knowledge. Does that make sense? Like, if I know how to break the economy, like, I don't know, I'll be too tempted, you know what I mean? I might ruin the game for myself, I don't know. So I'm like, oh no, should I watch? Am I gonna ruin Slay the Spire for myself? It'll be fine.
2 is a perfectly balanced video game with no exploits at all. For the American audience, that was sarcasm. So welcome on into the game. For those of you who've played Slay the Spire, this will be like riding a bike. When you press play, the game generates a random seed map of events, enemies, and loot for you to pick up along your path. The things you do and cards you choose affect your path moving forward, so there's basically an infinite combinations of what you can run into. As you progress through the map, the enemies scale in difficulty, and in theory, things will get harder until you either die or beat the Chapter 3 boss. For this run, I think it's important to point out that I have decided to play on Ascension 1 difficulty, because I personally believe that Ascension 1, which is technically meant to be harder than the base game, is actually easier. And the reason is simple. It increases the spawn of elites. Elites are very difficult enemies that are hard to defeat, but they drop relics on their death. Relics are buffs, curses, or boosts that are active the whole time you play, which means if you're me and you want to become powerful, you want to start relic farming as soon as possible. On top of this, I've unlocked loads of relics.
I've noticed that when like pro players are playing, they have like a billion relics, but I always kind of get clapped by enemies. I've noticed I've also been like undervaluing good cards. Like my card evaluation isn't the best still. I need to work on that.
Cards by playing the game, and this...
Another question. Do you guys like to look up strategies or figure them out yourself? Because I find I'm just raw dogging Slay the Spire right now, both literally and metaphorically. And yeah, I'm tempted to look up builds, but then I also don't want to like, you know, affect my learning, because that's, I think, a part of the joy of this game is getting better at it and understanding it more. And all of that kind of stuff and getting better builds. So how do you guys feel about that for like RPGs and things? I like to go in blind myself. I enjoy
to make the whole run a lot more interesting. So our first encounter is with the lovely
I'm on Ascension 7 right now, and I'm kind of like,
lets us choose one of 3 relics. New
seen a few
Leaf,
tier lists
Booming
of cards,
Conch, or Silver Crucible. Normally I would think about this, but New Leaf here is actually a perfectly balanced starting option, and it even allows us to begin our exploits right away. This relic normally transforms one card into another, like making a strike a defense, or if you're lucky, a special rare card. So I'm going to choose a strike card, and it will be transformed into one of these many options over here, which is good, but it doesn't break the game. We're still well within the realms of balance that the developers like. This is where arrow keys come in. By navigating the on-screen menus with the up arrow followed by a few left arrows, I can get back to my card choices in the background of the UI there. There is just one slight issue. I can highlight these.
Oh no, not the UI bugs. Oh god, I am so triggered in developer right now. The amount of like abuse. Oh my god. That just gives me flashbacks of my simulator game. Oh lord.
Other cards by pressing enter. This selects these cards and I'll keep doing.
I guess for some context, people were able to like reset their earnings, like their wealth of the day, so that like technically they could get the day's income again. They could like double their money by doing like it was a whole thing.
It until every card except the first one has a glowing blue border on them. The game is now perceiving that all 10 of the cards have been selected to be transformed, but surely the devs wouldn't allow me to press the... That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
for my
amazing.
first trick, I've taken my base starting deck and gambled it into the abyss, giving me a whole new starting hand.
I wonder if I can do that
potentially
still,
powerful
if they
cards.
patch
They
that
are
yet.
random, but luckily we've had a pretty good roll of the dice, with 3 rare cards and some very useful skills,
That's
including
incredible.
my favorite, Capture Spirit. So let's
Capture Spirit is cool, although I found it a bit underwhelming, but maybe because I'm bad.
continue our run down the right-hand side of the map and meet our character,
Oh,
the
Necrobinder. Let's go. I'm a Necrobinder main. That's all I play. I'm curious who you guys play and why, but I love Necrobinder because I always play Necromancers.
They're actually new for Slay the Spire too. We have quite low health
so
comparatively to other characters, but this is made up for by her trusty hand Osti, who is a summoned bone hand who absorbs the damage inflicted before it hits us, giving us a nice health buffer. Still, let's start this fight against the Sea Punk by generating some block and flinging out 2 attacks. Now you will see that Osti immediately dies, but spawns back at the beginning of every turn with 1 HP. What a lovely little chap. These starting fights are always longer with the base cards, and you can end up taking a lot of damage, but thanks to transformed cards like Enfeebling Touch, I can stroll through this combat by negating all damage the enemy would do. If that sounds unfair, I don't care, but it is the soul card here that is the most important part of my deck that I'm going to build around. The soul cards are gained by playing Capture Spirit, and the reason they're powerful is
going to do the power that whenever you play a soul it deals damage.
That they cost no energy, and they give free card draw. No energy is exactly the thing that leads to infinite builds in this game, and with the right things going on, we can potentially draw out our entire deck. So
you could try to remove his entire deck, so it's just Capture Spirit and the debuff. So it's like you get like Capture Spirit, and then you would still burn them out after using them because you can only use the soul once. So.
I can keep drawing until I have every single card I have in my hand, which...
Oh wait, I think I see what he's doing here. I'm going to try to call it, okay? So if he has a card that gives him energy to play the Spirit for free, and then he redraws them both because he has so few cards in his deck left, then in theory he could generate 3 things, 3 souls, draw those cards back in again, generate the energy to cast it again, and keep going infinite. Now, from what I understand, all of the things that generate energy apply debuffs to Necrobinder, like Doom and stuff like that. I'm not sure if there's just a raw one that isn't a normal card, but we'll see.
gives me more than enough damage to kill the Sea Punk. Be gone! Right, so after this battle, we can pick up a potion, which is a one-time use item, money to be spent in shops, and cards. We get a few options, but for now I'm going to choose friendship. This gives me less strength, meaning I do less damage, but it gives me extra energy, which allows me to play more cards on my turn. The next enemy is the Sludge Spinner, who does nothing particularly special, and unfortunately for him, I have a Wisp, which gives me an extra energy, and Eradicate, which does 6 damage per energy spent to cast it. So goodbye, good sir.
Eradicate can get pretty
got
gross,
one chance to
especially
attack
with
me.
friendship.
It was never going to be good enough. Now, this card choice is interesting. We can choose a really powerful card that does 27 damage, a card that buffs my hand, or Poke. Obviously, I'm taking Poke. It's a 0 mana card that's not really very good, but it's going to make me feel all the more powerful when I break the game using this, one of the weakest cards imaginable. We've drawn into no good cards this turn, but thanks to my soul cards, I'm going to see what I can find. Perfect, Eradicate is more than enough to kill the back enemy. And just to be harsh, I saved the Poke for last. Poke. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that poke is actually one of the most powerful actions a person can take. And if you would poke that like button now, I would be greatly appreciative. And I wouldn't poke you when you're down. Ooh, we've wandered upon a question mark and landed an event. We can get a random relic and a curse that would bloat my deck, or lose some HP
like to poke that subscribe button and check out my Twitter.
In gold. I mean, come on, I am British.
It seemed like a good opportunity.
And we have the first rest site of the game, where I can sit back, relax, and gain some of our lost health, or we can upgrade a card in our deck. Yes, a singular card.
Oh no.
Right, there we go. I've selected all the cards in my deck, and when I now press the tick button...
Anytime you select a card, you can do that. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my god, that breaks it so bad. Oh no. So if you guys haven't played the game, upgrading is significantly strong. So yeah, whenever you select, you can just go off the UI. Oh, wow. That's wild.
Has upgraded all of them. Say goodbye to game balance and hello to God gameplay. This is only remotely possible because I drink.
God, I love what this guy's doing right now. He must feel so OP.
Amount of Yorkshire tea, and you coffee drinking heathen simply wouldn't be able to get on my level, so to speak. Right, we must continue. New enemy, here we go. This is definitely not just two gremlins stacked on top of one another. Let's negate all damage with this enfeebling touch. We can do an attack and buff up Osty a little bit.
Like crack,
then I will activate my trap card, Capture Spirit Plus, the upgraded version, and poke them, leaving them with 1 HP remaining, because yes, I've done this combat before, and spoilers, yes, it is two gremlins on top of each other in a suit that eventually dismount, and this fat one at the back is going to try and run off with all of my money. Unfortunately for him, he's going to die. Then with a poke and another Capture Spirit, I can drain the soul out of this one too.
It's cool that he has souls.
Yes, the developers definitely don't intend you to have a fully upgraded deck at this stage of the game, but who cares about balance? I'm the Spiffing Brit. Now, this is where I'm going to start pivoting. I understand that a lot of players love taking all the loot, but with Capture Spirit, I'm going to try and go infinite, which means thinning my deck to make it easier to draw into my good cards. So I'll be skipping the card rewards here, and almost all of the ones in the future too. Right, we're up against our first elite. This is a high-powered, scary, and spooky terror eel. I'm going to shrink him with my beetle.
He's not bad.
So now he's just handheld eel. I'll hit him with Captured Spirit, a poke, and 11 damage. Unfortunately for Terror Eel, it isn't looking too good.
He's honestly one of the easier
eradicate him. For our first elite combat, I think that went quite well. He has dropped me this sparkling rouge relic, which gives 1 strength from...
Now I'm just imagining that the eel is like using lipstick.
1 dexterity every 3 turns, which isn't bad, but as I'm trying to kill enemies before they get a chance to hit me, it isn't ideal for us. Once again, we're going to ignore the cards and move on to the bonfire.
I think somewhere feels bad.
Now we have upgraded every card in our deck, so we're forced to take a little nap before we venture onto the lovely relic room. It's a 50-50 choice, and I'm going to path to the left so that way I can run myself into another elite after my sleep. Okay,
this is just like making me think, like, since we've been covering like Let's Game It Out and game breakers being sort of like the new theme of the channel. Yeah, it's funny because like players like this, especially content creators, are actually super useful, right? Because you're like seeing like, oh, here's all the ways that like I need to like patch my game or things that are broken. And sometimes it's not really necessary depending on the like how elaborate, because like no average player is going to go through all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Just to, and if they really want to, like at that point, that's the experience they want. So screw it, who cares, you know? But when it comes to stuff like this, which is very like kind of unfortunate glitch, or you know, balancing breaking, things like that. That stuff is very, or like broken economies that I apparently like Spiffing but really like tackles, right? Those things are like great to have feedback on.
To the next combat. Oh, it's the funky gardener fish. These are annoying because they gain block when I attack, so you have to try and one-shot them, which is harder when there are 4 of them. But luckily for me, I have this potion that can kill one of them. Wait, that didn't blow him up. Oh, that's quite embarrassing. A misplay in a video. Surely we can edit around it. Go editors, pretend that didn't happen. Anyway, I'll weaken them so they do less damage, and just hope that I do better next turn.
I wish I had the 1 million
damage friendship,
potion.
Going for more energy. Osti will do an attack, then let's draw our whole hand. But we don't have enough to one hit right now, so I'll grab some shield and end my turn.
There should be like
let's
a
get
rare insta-kill potion.
Creative by capturing the spirit of the front guy. Poke him and Raph, then hit the back chap for 14, then we'll just buff up Soulstorm to finish the fight. Ooh, let's pick up the vulnerable potion and Red Mask, which applies weak to all enemies, which means they do less damage, which is nice. And let's have a look at the cards. Ah, yes, we do have some rare cards. This is End of Days, which is really tempting. It's one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, End of Days is actually really cool. It's a pretty fun card. Applying Doom and like Doom builds are also really interesting, but unfortunately the way Doom works, you end up taking a lot of damage. But insta-killing with it, honestly, you don't even need other Doom cards. It's so good at clearing like difficult multi-mobs
in the game, but it won't allow me to go infinite. Instead, let's pick up Neurosurge, which gains energy, draws us cards, and
oh, but you can't multicast it. Extra gain and draw is good. And if he plans on going infinite first turn, then it doesn't really matter at the start of my next turn. So it's a little bit of juice, but it's not repeatable. So.
Apply Doom, and best of all, it doesn't cost any energy to
maybe
play.
you can
So
duplicate
of course
it or
I'll
something?
be nabbing it. Right, quick explainer. Doom is a mechanic that builds up over time and kills things at the end of their turn. Normally, this is a downside, but with
I'm glad that glad that he's explaining that for you.
my Capture Spirit and Soul cards, I'll be able to play this over and over until my enemies die. I may be dead to Doom, but as it doesn't activate until I click this button to end my turn, if I can defeat the enemy, the combat ends and I walk away unharmed, which makes this a free mana and free draw card.
But it's a
and
power,
after
so you can only do
upgrading
that
it at a
once.
campfire, we now get even more energy. Oh yes, this is going very well indeed. And after parsing battles with no good relics or rewards and killing them all in one turn, we're about to battle the first boss. So who is our boss? The Big Fish. An interesting boss, looking currently to bloat our deck with cards that will hurt us if we don't play them. However, we've the distinct advantage of card draw, which should stop too many shenanigans. Unfortunately, my deck is already a little big and I haven't started with any of my draw cards, which is an issue, but I'm sure we can muddle through. Okay, on our first turn, we still managed about 40 damage, and now the fish is ready to throw back at us. And
fish can be pretty painful. So, like, how debuffs work in this game is they give you another card into your deck, and when you draw them, you either can't cast them or they do damage to you if you can't get rid of them, stuff like that. And for draw builds, that's really bad, because as you can imagine, every card you draw at the end of the turn is going to deal 3 damage to you, and you draw 10 cards, like, you're more likely to keep... And some of them stay in the deck, so that you just keep getting more and more infected, so your draws are more and more trash. It can become a big problem really quickly for those kind of, like, endless spam builds. That's what I've noticed about Slay the Spire 2, is very interesting, because they changed it in 1... You could basically just draw a shit ton of cards and try to do as much damage as possible. But I noticed in Slay the Spire 2, it punishes reducing your deck too much with certain bosses, and it punishes drawing too much as well. So there's a lot more to account for when fighting enemies, and some require different strategies than others. And I actually really like that. Although sometimes it can be very unfortunate, because it's like, I just want to build this way because I like this, but you get really hard punished for it. Kind of sucks, but...
Again, I've missed all of my draw cards. Yeah, this is getting a bit too spicy for me, so I'm going to have to weaken him, and hopefully we can roll into draw next turn. If not, the run could end here with the boss killing me. Ah, yes, perfect. Here is the Capture Spirit, which I will immediately play, and then let's get juiced. I'll then rifle through my deck until I come across Eradicate, which should actually do the job after I use the Wisp. Oh my god, I didn't calculate it. I didn't calculate it. He's still on 6 HP.
No.
Unless I poke you in which case you
There
die.
you go. Well, I guess, yeah,
So
4
even
energy
the
with
boss
Eradicate's
didn't land a
really
hit
nice.
on the Necromancer. Many thanks to Osty, my good boy. And though many players would tell you to take one of the rare cards dropped
like
by the boss,
Necromancer.
it is really important we start thinning our deck. So let's continue the run and oh my, would you look at this? Darv the Hoarder is my hero. Yes, this gentleman is
He
perfect
does
for
actually give Spiffing Brit vibes. The merchant who curses you and boons you
The
at the
Dusty
same time.
Grimoire is actually one of the best cards I could have in my deck right now. It costs 1 energy when played and has no active skills in the combat, but it allows us to remove a card from our deck at
That's
the
gonna
end
be
of each
so
fight.
good.
Which
He
means I'm
lucked
going
out.
to take this path to thin my deck really quick
That's like
and
the
get
perfect
to
card
that
for a run
infinite
like this.
build. Oh, and immediately the Grimoire. Oh, let's play it. Right, then we're going to make you real
Surprised he
feeble
didn't go to
so
the
you
shop
don't
to
hurt
buy
me
a
so
relic
bad.
or
Right,
remove a
Mr.
card.
Thieving Hopper, what are you going to take? Sikkim. Oh no, how could you? That's one of my cards.
Oh, just let him
So on
take
the
it.
second floor, the enemies
Oh,
are
wow.
going to be more powerful and more dangerous. There's just one slight issue. Because I'm so gosh
him down,
darn
but let him take the
powerful,
card.
with just one Eradicate, he's dead. Now, the interesting thing here is after the combat, you can take back your stolen.
Oh, but he can also just leave it. I've never used it that way before, actually. I've always taken it back. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I'm
card, but
learning.
he took something I don't need. So I'll actually just leave it on his corpse, skip all of these rubbish cards, and then remove my Spirit of Ash card because where we're going, we don't need block. So in that one combat, we managed to remove 2
awesome.
useless cards from our deck. On to
There is a problem, right? When he's in the middle of thinning out his deck too much, but the build isn't fully together, he doesn't have a lot of block, but he can't insta-kill, right? So there's a vulnerable state here.
the next
That he
one.
might need to
Oh,
be
who are
careful
you? The
about.
Obscura. As you can see, the enemies are scaling pretty quick. Their HP is 1,
he's a
2,
chunky
3,
boy.
and they're looking to summon friends into the battle, which can make this a run-ender if you don't have a decent build going into this point of the game. Thankfully, in our
his
case,
summon
I'm
can
just
be a
going to
pain, you gotta
Neurosurge, hit you with a poke, and then pull off a Mega Eradication, leaving you on 16
Nice.
HP, which means it doesn't matter if the summon comes into play, because when I kill you, they won't get to fight back. Oh, and let's remove the Afterlife from the deck. Yes,
Hard
that's right, I'm the
Eradicate
Spiffing
carry.
Brit, and I just deleted the Afterlife. You're welcome. Now, my deck is down to 8 cards, and I think I'm going to change my pathing and look into this question mark.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly.
It's a shop! Shop is good. Oh, yes, this shop.
This is the difference between Spiffing Brit and Let's Game It Out. Let's Game It Out would build in the afterlife, and Spiffing Brit would just delete it altogether.
Something amazing. It's the Punch Dagger. Upon
create
pickup, we get to
infinite
enchant an
afterlife.
attack with Momentum 5. Basically, whenever we play it, it increases the amount of damage done by this card by 5 for the rest of the combat. We're, of course, going to attach this to Poke. Yep, this is going to
my
get
God.
very silly very quickly. Then we're going to move
Oh
right
my
into
God,
another
I didn't-
elite battle with the
That continues to happen. It's not first time played.
House. He is so cute. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. I will
no, on
poke him,
zero
and then with
cost
our new
poke,
effect
that's-
on the card, it will increase its damage.
That's so nasty, dude. You don't even need that, like just that card alone is insanely powerful. You don't even need to do any shenanigans, and that could probably carry you.
Every time I play it. So on Eurosurge to draw the poke
that's
again,
so
building its
gross.
damage again, and then Forbidden Grimoire into Wisp, into Eradicate to do big damage to the poor louse. So here's the thing with the soul cards. Because my deck is so small, I can play them to draw other
Ascension-
cards in my
Ascension
deck,
1, okay.
meaning I'm able to play the amazing poke card
I
here
would like to see him break Ascension 10.
multiple times in the same turn, and of course each time I play it, it increases in damage, meaning poor Mr. Louse here never stood a chance. Perfect, with our deck getting smaller, it may sound bold to get rid of that once helpful Soulstorm, but you have to trust the process.
It is
The
spicy.
less cards, the more poke. The more poke, the more damage. The more damage,
He's
the
literally
quicker I
poking them to
become
death.
an
Oh my God.
undefeatable god. We've moved into another elite room for this
I'm just processing that now.
combat. But wait, he's giving me free energy. Well, thank you. Let me just use it quickly to poke him. Get the free mana, Wisp,
Amazing.
capture his spirit, Neurosurge, and hopefully
He's cooked.
poke maxing shall begin. We now have 8 energy.
Is that the new slang now? Poke maxing?
And we have another Capture Spirit, which will generate more souls. We poke for 14 damage, then Soul card into another Soul card,
keep
and
drawing the
repeat
poke.
until we have the same cards in our hand again. Then we can poke even
Oh
more,
my
and this
God.
loop does damage over and over at the
boosted
cost
poke
of 1
makes it
mana.
go,
This
like,
might look like the infinite
way
I've been aiming
faster.
for because it is really overpowered, but it technically isn't yet there. Whilst we do have a lot of energy, we have to burn some in order to get the Soul cards. I mean, I
Yeah,
could play
from
poke
Capture
and the
Spirit.
Soul card again, and I know that I'll immediately draw that poke, as it's
I mean,
the only
that's-
card in my draw pile, and
Because of that buff, now, like I wasn't expecting that buff. I didn't even know that existed, honestly. On top of poke, you should be fine. Like, you'll get through almost anything in the game with that much damage. I think you don't need it to go infinite. But hey, we're here for
the elite here isn't even going to get a chance to fight at all. So, using our newfound cycle, we'll keep progressing through these battles, ignoring cards, collecting gold, and overall being unstoppable. Yeah. We have done it, ladies and gentlemen. In one of the final rooms, I have found the final piece to our puzzle.
Oh, I understand now. Because I was like, borrowed time's going to apply the doom to you, which will kill you. But doom only happens at the end, so you can infinitely doom yourself as long as you win. Okay. Okay. I was like, oh, but if you apply... Okay.
Borrowed
there
time.
It is.
It applies doom and
That's
gives
disgusting.
us energy for no energy cost at all. Free energy.
What have
yes,
you done?
With nothing now in my way, I'm going to tidy this deck up a bit by removing the Eradicate, who did a lot of the heavy lifting to get us here, but now is just getting in my way.
Rest in peace, Eradicate.
And we can smith borrowed time, which gives us even more free mana. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to floor 33. We are up against the insatiable, one of the most devastating...
The only downside, actually, is that Forbidden Book's just gonna rot in your hand.
Terrifying and evil enemies, and we're going to kill it on turn one.
Oh my god,
very
he sucks
simply.
too. I
Our
hate him
deck
so
only
much.
has 7 cards in it, and we draw all of them on the first round of combat. 4 of these cards go away once we play them, so let's get them out of the way now. Forbidden Grimoire, Wisp, and technically Neurosurge.
This is the final boss of the run, by the way.
Longer, so we can break the game with 3 cards: Captured Spirit, Borrowed Time, and Poke. The way it's going to work is quite simple. Captured Spirit is going to hit the Insatiable, generating 4 soul cards from my draw pile. I can then use Neurosurge here to not only gain mana, but also draw those initial soul cards, which I can then use to draw other soul cards, and most importantly, draw the Captured Spirit. By doing this, we're left over with 1 more soul card than we started with. However, we have 1 less mana than we started with, which is entirely negated with the energy gained from Borrowed Time. We do gain Doom, which is scary, but we won't be ending this turn without killing the boss.
Which means kept the multi-strike, because he's actually net positive 1 Doom each cycle, I think. So, so he would just infinitely gain energy, and then just letting out the most unbelievable multi-attack of like 50 hits or something would be so satisfying.
Like the French word for don't retreat, it's functionally irrelevant. So that's what we're going to do. We poke, we play Borrowed Time, we play a soul, we draw again. We generate some more soul cards, we poke, we borrow time, we draw into them, we repeat this cycle until we have our entire deck back out. Now our poke's doing 24 damage, we repeat, and you'll notice in this entire cycle, I'm actually gaining mana. We're now to having 13 mana. So the longer this goes on, the more damage poke does, the more mana we have, and the longer we can cycle over and over again. There are more soul cards building up in my...
Where my based Necrobinder player is at.
My hand, and we're just going to keep on playing infinitely. The enemy here doesn't get to...
Actually, good question. What's your favorite Necrobinder build? I prefer infinite Osty attacks, or I actually low-key like Ethereal. It's kind of trash, but I love it.
Have a turn of the game, purely because I don't want them to, and I am the god of this universe. So we're just going to keep on drawing over and over again, and now Poke is going to do 54 damage, killing the Insatiable before it gets a turn. Yes, you can't fight back. Your foolish hubris to even stand against the might of I, the Spiffing Brit, as I dominate my way through this tower, and teach the enemies the true definition of the word hubris. Now our deck is absolutely perfect. I don't need to remove any more cards. Unfortunately, the Grimoire can't remove itself, so I'll continue smashing my enemies into the floor until they give in.
Not tier 2. Yep. Now it's just a formality. I wonder if there's a way to break this. Like, maybe if there's a monster that, like, floods his hand with extra cards. Like debuffs. Turn 1. I don't think so, though. I think he has enough gas to get through. Is this like Doomslayer?
And we have ourselves an elite, the Soul Nexus. Ooh, very spooky. Poke, capture your spirit. Wisp, Borrowed Time, Forbidden Grimoire, Neurosurge, and there we go, Soul Nexus. It's over. It doesn't matter now. You can just retire, because I am flinging cards randomly at you in glorious fashion. Right, onwards we go into the final camp.
Some of the enemies, bosses, do create buffs. Like, you can only play a certain amount of attacks, stuff like that, but I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Where we can rest, and
we'll see.
Now it's time for the final boss of the game.
I don't think it
yes,
comes
we
to
are
effect.
up against the door. Okay, no, it's not actually the door. This is a bit of an early access placeholder, but once you defeat the door, a gentleman shall reveal himself on the other side. He is going to be by far the toughest enemy we've faced in this entire game. However, we're never actually going to end our turn. We're going to turn 0 the boss. So we capture Spirit on the door, we play our Wisp, Borrowed Time, and we poke.
Now you're playing Legacy, Vintage, Magic the Gathering now.
And now the fun begins, as we're going to infinitely poke down this door into a state of weakness. Alright, there we go, Mr. Door is down to 3 HP, so with one final poke, huzzah! It's the Door Maker! He says, who's there? He's stunned, so he won't even act on this turn, but next turn he'd start hitting us.
You know what, you just need to close that portal back up, buddy, okay? You don't want to be looking through here, okay?
Huge amounts of damage, and then summon another door for us to fight. Unfortunately for Mr. Doormaker here, he is screwed. We're going to make him weak and vulnerable. Technically, we can also go fully infinite here by drinking the Touch of Insanity and making Capture Spirit completely free to cast. At this point, we can go infinite without even using Borrowed Time. So that's exactly what I might as well do. We're just going to repeatedly cycle over and over again, generating new souls, and now Poke is doing 96 damage. Oh dear, Mr. Doormaker. I'm afraid Mr. Poke is doing 69
nice
damage,
finish.
but on your vulnerable body, that's 103. So, with just 6 cards in my deck, and only 3 that actually matter, oh, Mr. Doormaker, I think you forgot the key. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your journey to the madness with me, and that you can agree Slay the Spire 2 is a perfectly balanced game with absolutely no exploits.
Absolutely none. Now, apparently there's multiple infinites that people have discovered, and have been like some patched, some not. I'm curious if you guys have discovered any, or what do you guys think about this game and how crazy the potential is, if you guys aren't familiar with Slay the Spire. Also, if you haven't, I genuinely really recommend it. I know everybody says it's amazing, but you should. It's pretty affordable. It's a really fun game, even if it's not traditionally your kind of game. I genuinely would.
I'm sure after this video the devs will patch everything I've done, so quickly flee, hop on, do some multiplayer with your friends.
I should
try some of the broken exploits out for yourself before they do. And let me know how
having
it goes
a field day with all the different ways to break this game.
Comment section. If you want to see more content like this, then give it a like and consider subscribing. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Yeah, give him a sub, obviously. He put so much work into all of his things. Editing, huge pain, but then also like all the work finding and creating exploits and all that nonsense, and sometimes bashing your head against the wall to do it and accomplish those things. So yeah, give him a sub, and if you would like and you enjoyed my insight on this, give me a sub as well, and check out my Twitch channel. Final thoughts, being as a game dev, dude, balancing is hard. I've talked about this before. It's such a challenge. Probably the hardest thing to do in game design, period, is balance a game correctly.